Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into nature's greatest survivors. We're talking about organisms that completely challenge our everyday understanding of life, aging, and, well, time itself. You know, we tend to think a human century is a really long time, right? But out in the natural world, that is just a blip. So let's explore some biological marvels that absolutely push the limits of endurance.
So, what is the longest living organism on Earth? When we talk about ancient life, your mind probably jumps straight to giant tortoises wandering around isolated islands, or maybe those towering redwood trees. And yeah, while they are undeniably ancient, for sure, to find the true record holders on this planet, we actually have to descend far beneath the waves. We're going down into the crushing pressure and pitch-black darkness of the deep ocean.
And that brings us to the deep ocean's silent thriver, the glass sponge. Now, these deep-sea organisms actually have skeletons made of silica, which is essentially just natural glass. Anchored in these extreme freezing environments, they just sit quietly in the dark, filtering water, completely undisturbed by all the chaos happening in the world on the surface above them. 15,000. I'm just going to pause for a second and let that fully sink in. Glass sponges can live for an astonishing 15,000 years. That makes them among the absolute longest living organisms anywhere on Earth. To put that into perspective, an organism sitting on the ocean floor today could have literally been alive and growing before humans even figured out agriculture. Wild, right? So as we see here, they have a deep ocean habitat. They thrive silently for millennia, and they're among Earth's longest living organisms. Basically, their survival strategy is all about consistency. That deep habitat gives them a protective, unchanging sanctuary. By keeping an incredibly slow metabolism, they just grow in a straight, continuous timeline. It's endurance in its absolute purest, most straightforward form.
But what about an even more fascinating creature? I mean, what if the secret to ultimate survival isn't just about enduring a really long time? What if the secret is refusing to reach the end of the line altogether?
Enter the immortal jellyfish. While the glass sponge has mastered the art of slow, steady aging, this little creature has developed an almost magical biological capability. It theoretically has the power to live forever by just fundamentally breaking the rules of the biological life cycle. Okay, let's look at how this works. Step 1. It reaches adulthood naturally, just like any normal creature. But step 2 is where it gets crazy. When faced with environmental stress, starvation, or physical damage, instead of dying, it reverts back to its juvenile stage. It literally transforms its adult cells back into young cells. And then, step 3, it restarts its life cycle. This means it could theoretically live forever, by repeatedly starting over from scratch. It's honestly the equivalent of a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar. No way, right?
So we're really looking at two entirely different pathways to extreme survival here. On one side, you have the linear lifespan of the glass sponge, living up to 15,000 years. It's like a marathon runner pushing forward through sheer resilience. But on the other side, you've got the cyclical rebirth of the immortal jellyfish, repeatedly restarting its life cycle. It just avoids the finish line entirely by hitting a biological reset button. It is a stunning contrast in evolutionary strategy.
But let's look at the scientific reality for a second. As much as we love the idea of an invincible creature roaming the oceans, the name is, well, it's catchy. But in the chaotic real world of the ocean, biological potential doesn't always guarantee real-world invincibility.
As the quote says, whether it is truly immortal remains an open question. Scientists are definitely still studying this remarkable phenomenon. You see, because they can still succumb to predators or disease, figuring out if a single individual is actually truly immortal is still up in the air. Their incredible ability to revert to a juvenile state is an amazing defense mechanism against stress, for sure. But trying to track one single jellyfish looping through this cycle in the wild ocean for millions of years, yeah, that's practically impossible for us right now.
So, is it true immortality, or just one of nature's greatest unsolved mysteries? Whether it's a silent sponge surviving 15,000 years in the dark, or a tiny jellyfish hacking the system to hit the reset button on aging, nature never ceases to amaze us with its incredible mysteries. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive in today's Explainer, and definitely keep exploring our amazing Earth.